Everyone. Okay, want to at least get 2 done. We might get 4 done. We'll see how we go. See how the day runs. Greg, Serge, Therese, Miles, Mark. I'll only stencil up 2 to start with. I don't want to stencil more than what I know I'm going to be doing. Oh, great. Where the hell did I put them? Ah, they're in here. Ah, and this is the proper stencil, not the other one. Watching Smother every day, it was allowed into a nuclear reactor while they were changing fuel rods. I thought rods, maybe? Like Zoltan. That guy gets to go quite a few places. Hey Jim, how's it going? Hey, Captain Bucko. We'll start out with 2 and see how we go. So I might get to the end of the 2 and decide, that's it, I've had enough. Take my toys and go home. And I still haven't found a place to put this perfectly good paste. So I've got to find the perfect container to put in, which is not going to be another paste. My ring lights, my studio lights are hanging a bit too low at the moment. Yeah, I really just don't know what to do with the paste. Maybe I can stick it into a zip bag. I mean, how much worse can it be? Oh gee, Greg, yeah, that's pretty bad when they do that. And yet, surprisingly common too. This does not necessarily please me. Oh, we'll stick it there for now, but I need to find a little container for it. Like always, there's always something that I have to try and optimize or improve or find a better casing for or something. Yeah, nothing's perfect. Pro my jar. I need something much smaller than that. Hey, Captain Bucko. If you just message me, we can organise something. I haven't got them on the website at the moment. What's the? Do you have? I guess the couple of questions. Do you have a Barlow on the underside of your um, microscope, like a 0.5, 0.7 or something like that? And what is the diameter of it? Because these are all made for the AmScope type one, which has a 48mm Barlow. I mean, it probably will be a match, Captain Bucko, but always good to check. Better to check and not waste your money than to waste your money and, well, feel resentful afterwards. Just need to scrape off the excess now. Hey, Bob Wirham. Okay. Yeah, what do they say? Trust but verify. Similar kind of concept. So as you see, a fair whack of paste still on there. Mind you, we probably still can use that for if we get to the second set of two, we can probably use that. However, I will clean this stencil up first. So, okay, all good. It would kind of help if I plugged in my vacuum tool. Come on. You got work to do, sucker. Just check on the fair kids. Yep. Alrighty. Here we go. Just Make sure I've got the orientation. Yep, that's good. Let's hope I actually got the right number of LEDs and didn't end up cutting myself one short. Looks like we got the right number. Ooh, we've only got a couple of the controllers left. Guess that's going to be my limiting factor. And we'll make sure we get the dot on the microcontroller in the right place. That was very embarrassing last time. Accidentally picked up two then. What type of LED? These are 97 CRI, 150 milliamp, about 100, I think about 120 or 150 degree span, 5,000 Kelvin temperature. I did try a 4,000 or 4,500 for warmth, but it didn't work out, so yeah, I jumped up to 5,000. There's 28 of them, half a watt each, so effectively that's like 14 watt, potentially 14 watts of output. But we really don't need to drive them that far. Have you considered making a fixture overlay with holes where you can simply drop the LEDs in place? Well, I mean I could, but the downside is you could end up accidentally bumping. The LEDs might not sit in properly, land properly, and it may actually cause them to bump out. Ultimately, it's still basically the same process though, where I would have to take them off the strip and place them into position. And honestly, with the turntable effect here, it's pretty easy anyway. So I don't think I'm going to be able to cut down on the amount of time. In fact, I would hazard to say that using a slotted guide, as if I imagine what you're talking about, could end up taking a little bit longer. I mean, pretty hard for me to get too much faster on the pick and place on this for myself. a bit. Did I put that cap on the previous one? I have a feeling I didn't. Oh no, I did. Alright. That was just a bit of paranoia. So the LEDs can handle 150 milliamp constant current with suitable cooling, of course. So the current limit resistor that I've got here sets it at about 130 at the maximum, and I'm hoping that should provide a nice long life for them, even if they are left at maximum brightness setting. Okay, that's that done. Okay, time to turn on the cook assembly. I could probably fit more than 2 on here, but I'm just going to stick with doing 2 at a time. I'm a little worried about those navigator switches coming off though, like last time. If they keep doing that, I'm going to have to come up with some other solution. Usually the surface tension holds them, but it doesn't seem to always. I think we can do the next 2. Although I need to just get some more bits and pieces here. So I'm out of 212s, and I need another 7805. Make sure I got the right ones. That packet doesn't really indicate any. Okay, yep, that's it. It seems a little bit primitive to be using just a stock standard 7805 regulator on a board like this, but it works out quite nicely because they can handle the very high voltage difference. They're bulky enough that they're not going to get cooked by the amount of heat that's released. And right, I need some 212s. They're also a very stable regulator, even when you don't have a lot of decoupling around them. Well, looks like we're going to steal it. Whereas when you use LDOs or other options, you need a lot more decoupling capacitance either side for the LDOs to remain stable. Whereas with 7805, you can basically run them without external decoupling. About a couple of 100 nanofarads doesn't hurt. Purchased a big lot of old Bausch and Lomb stereo microscopes from the States. Are they still useful? I would imagine so. If anything, they've probably got superior optics. They may look a little weird, but I'd imagine they should have superior optics. I guess if you can find out what the magnification range of the head is, and then, we use, 7 to 45 or something like that. So, you just have to pick your eyepieces and whatever to suit. The biggest problem could be just trying to find suitable eyepieces and Barlows to get the range you're after. But I'd be very surprised if the optics give you any trouble. They should be fantastic, actually. Certainly much better than this Amscope Chinese stuff. Where's Mo gone? Oh, right, he's under another chair. Just keeping an eye on the boys. So hopefully that will actually be a really good purchase that you've made. Even though there is a lot of paste still on the actual squeegee unit, you got to kind of give it a little bit more each time so that it doesn't, just so that it works. This is leaded paste, and no, I don't store it in the fridge. See what state we're at. Okay, we're only... Okay, so we've got a minute and a half to go for one of them. If I'm pushed, I can always change this over to SAC 305 paste. But for now, I'm using 3763. But the oven will do SAC 305, and I've worked with SAC 305 and I'm perfectly happy with it. So yeah, if push came to shove, they said, you have to now use lead-free, I'll go, that's fine. It doesn't matter that I'm not getting these perfectly positioned. I mean, that one was a little bit too far out, but overall the paste just pulls them back into position very well. So you have a stereo zoom 3, 4 and 7. The eyepieces are 10 and 20. So do you know what the head's magnification range is? Or does it have an adjustable range, or is it fixed? Yeah, I thought I had a second 212. Oh man. That reflow should be finished by now, but I'm just waiting for the extractor to draw off most of the fumes. I actually can't smell it today. Like, I mean, the smell is already substantially reduced because of the way I've done the extractor. But for some reason, particularly right now, I'm not detecting any of it, which is nice. Adjustable distance and magnification. Okay. So the head itself should be like the M-scope ones are 0.7 to 4.5. And so when you add the 10 by eyepieces, that gives you 7 to 45. And then obviously you put the Barlow on the bottom. If you use a 0.5 Barlow, then it goes from 3.5 to 22.5. Okay, this should be ready to come out now. Yeah, 10 minutes, they're good. They didn't even cook. No wonder I didn't smell. I forgot to activate the oven. Right, they're going to have to be done again. I was wondering why I didn't feel any heat coming out. There's nothing in the oven wasn't turned on. Call it a safety feature, if you will. So when I modify those toaster ovens, I leave the timer dial active in there. And so for it to work, you have to turn on the timer to whatever you need. You know, take it all the way, whatever. And it acts as a nice sort of mechanical breaker if you forget things and walk away, something like that. You know, rather than the oven just constantly going, say something goes wrong with the software or the sensor, and it just keeps powering it at full power indefinitely. Yeah, that could be dangerous. So by leaving the mechanical timer in there, it provides a fail-safe. Blonde moment. Hello, Miles. Nice introduction to yourself there again. Now, I don't know if anybody here is good with MacBooks, but I have got a 2289, which is one of the last Intel type ones. 820 1987 board. And something shot through on one of the CD3215 ports. The board itself looks immaculate. It's never been removed, nothing like that. Anyway, so it wasn't getting 5 volts or anything. It wasn't getting 20 volts. So I replaced the 3215s, or 17s in this case, and unfortunately, two of the lines going to the PCH from one of the 3217s had blown through, so they're actually coming up as close to short at 3.5 ohms and 23 ohms. So, and they're not balanced, so clearly the PCH took a hit. So I get 20 volts. I am charging, so T2's operating and everything, but it's not coming up in DFU mode or anything, or recovery mode. It charges, but it's just not turning on. I have a feeling that when the PCH got hit, it took out a little bit more than just the PCH. Or rather, it took out a little more than just that one section of the PCH. Which is a shame, because I want the data off that one. But this is what happens when you use non-genuine bricks. Not to say that genuine ones haven't ever caused a problem, but there is certainly a higher chance of failure with the non-genuine ones. But yeah, it shot through the PCA, the 3217, and jumped over the filter pack that they have for the data link. The filter pack didn't save it. Gee whiz, mate. Getting a little overzealous there. We need another 212. Let's see if I can find one of those. I should have quite a lot of them, but you never know. It'd be hilarious if I don't. That's okay. Gives me an excuse to buy some more stuff from DigiKey. It's always a pain when I go to buy things from DigiKey, like I might need one little thing. And you want to get that free shipping. And you're like, what am I going to stock up on? Let's see, tiny 414s. No, we want 2313s. Wow, been a while since I've used 2313s. It was a handy chip though. Tiny 10s. Love that chip. Now this is all old gen stuff. Wait, Tiny 13. Yeah, the Tiny 10 and the Tiny 13 were like my mainstay development chips for a very long time. Until eventually I only recently really switched over to the new Series 1 type. Which I'm happy for. I do like the new series. It did take a bit of getting used to though. Alright. There's no way I do not have suitable chips. Are there saltwater crocs where I live? Yes, there are. Yeah, you just got to be mindful of where you go swimming, if you choose to go swimming. Okay, got plenty of drivers. A lot of the time, people that get taken by crocs are usually pushing their luck somewhere. Not always. Every now and then there truly are tragic cases. But a lot of the time it's someone being stupid. 7805s, I can smell the reflow. This is going to be hilarious if I don't have any 212s left. Yeah, normally I just buy them very much in bulk. Worst case scenario, I can always steal them from one of those. Seriously, Bob, it's really not an issue. Like, you'd have to be profoundly unlucky and somewhat idiotic in most cases to ever get caught. Wow. Okay, it's at open door state, but still got a minute or two to go before I'm willing to open it. Well, it would seem that I do not have 2 1 2s. How could that happen? Oh, we have to just strip one. Not you. Supposedly they'll swim out of the water and attack people on the beach. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you got to be pretty damn unlucky. You're very much likely to have more chance of being killed by a cow. Alright, well, I know what we're ordering next from DigiKey. Another 100 chips. I'm just trying to find one now so I can do that board. What's in here? So these are all 48s. Yeah, brown snakes will leave you alone. Anytime they go for you is if you're in their way. If they want to get out of there and you happen to be in their path of where they want to go, that's when it seems like they're chasing you and attacking you, but really they're just running for the hills and you're in the way. Okay, here we go. We've got 2 1 2 here. We'll use this. Dingoes, usually what's happening there, people have been feeding them, and so dingoes start associating humans with food, and that's when they come up to places. There's been a couple of cases recent on CRI Island, which formerly known as Fraser Island. Most of the time it's just people being where they shouldn't be or doing things they shouldn't do that causes the problem more than anything else. like we get dingoes in the paddock. We also get wallaroos. We had and wallabies, and we get everything. We had a wallaroo in the backyard just yesterday. Where's Milo gone? Please stand by. I've just got to go find Milo. He's not in his designated area. Oh, you're inside, buddy. Hello? Turns out he'd been let inside, and that's why he wasn't there. It's a little hot. Yeah, next batch ready. So camping in Australia is fun. I mean, over in other countries like America and wherever, you've got bears. I'd be more concerned about a bear than I would about most of Australia's wildlife. Again, a lot of the time because bears have associated humans with food and the smells, so they're going to come for it. You've got what do you call it? Mountain lions in Africa. You've got a whole bunch of stuff too. Outside of just simple, outside of the big cats, there's plenty of other things that can mess you up. Australia is pretty safe, really, to go camping. Yeah, standard precautions. Yeah, the deadliness of Australia definitely gets overblown, and I mean, yeah, we like to play up to it occasionally. It makes us feel like we're special, especially when we're battling with Texans. See how this goes. See what these boards look like. That didn't see that. That didn't wick itself across, so I'm going to have to hot air that to get that to come back across. Solder balls aren't a problem. But yeah, that's definitely going to have to be hot aired and brought back. Cassowaries are probably a real issue that I'd be worried about up north. I mean, those things are they're just living raptors. Pretty sure this one's okay. Didn't really pull it across as much as I would like, but it is okay. This one really hasn't come across, which is annoying. Oh, what the flip? Lewis Rossman all over my board. Excessive fluxing. Right, now I've got hairs that are going to burn up all over the place. Yay! What a wonderful thing. Okay, let's see if we can salvage this. What the? Hey, McRams. Because if I don't get this reasonably repositioned, it will probably burn up. So it's difficult to get these things to rework. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need more. Because the aluminium plate just takes all the heat and it says, bring me more. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, I will say, up here in the north, probably the more threatening things are the little things. Like stuff that lives in the soil and mosquitoes. Things like that. That's more what you're constantly worried about. Not the big things too much. I mean, even the bats... Yeah, they carry lyssavirus, which is basically a rabies. There's a hell of a lot of screaming and crying over bats. But I think we've had maybe 3 deaths from lyssavirus, maybe 4, in a quarter of a century. Meanwhile, just last year, with all the rains, I think we had 30 or 40 people die from floodwater-borne bacterial infections. So yeah, humans, we're not the best at risk evaluation or our reactions to risk. We're pretty bad at it. We fear sharks in the water, yet we're more likely to be taken out by a cow. Oh wow, that's already done already. How long have you been there? Uh, yeah, you definitely did cook. I'm gonna give it another minute or two in the oven. Alright, I can program these now. Now, hopefully this time the programming goes according to plan. We had a hiccup last time because the compiler changed. And when the compiler changed, it kind of stuffed up the firmware slightly, which made the lights behave weird. What? Oh no. Yep, someone just stuffed up all of the USB settings here. Two. That one all good. This one not so much. Try that again. My microscope switch is interfering. Seriously? You're not working? Oh, you did. Right. Okay. Okay, so we're going to use this cable. We know we've got power coming out on it. Okay. It works. Oh yeah, that's a little bright. Okay, that one works. Two more in the oven. Time to come out. Yeah, that's still warm. Apparently hot things stay hot for a while. So trying to steal cookies out of the oven too soon after the finished baking. Come on. Okay, how'd we go on this one? Okay, that's much better. That's how they should come out of the reflow. that's a good one. And that one there is good too. Okay, the decoupling cap sort of shifted over a little bit, but that's okay. It's all good. Hopefully these will just program straight off. Ah, someone let go of the... Oh, come on, bro. Don't be like that. Okay, you're good. And you're good. The reason why I take the brightness down and give it a couple of seconds, then turn it off, and then turn it back on, is I want to be sure that it is storing the brightness level that I stop at. So if you know, once the brightness level has been set and has sat there for a couple of seconds, it writes it to its internal EEPROM. So then when you power it back up, it's back to where it was where you set it. Again, I didn't wait long enough. It's about 4 seconds or so. I don't like to do it immediately. Yeah, so there you go. Otherwise you'll wear the EEPROM out. It's only got 100,000 writes. It's good. You might think I was being a bit silly when I said 100,000 writes, but not funnily enough, but seriously, you can end up wearing out those EEPROMs. Sometimes you have to, for some applications, start implementing wear leveling programs. Hey, Tom Morgan. A little bit disorganized, it seems, as usual. I'm just trying to find the container that has the brass inserts for me. you guys. Where'd I put you little bastards? Ah, there you are. So you just got to curse a little bit. As soon as you start cursing, universe lets you know. Temperature also degrades the right cycles, sometimes dramatically. That's... I think I saw Atmel did do a write-up on that. Needs to say, it's certainly not indefinite, so it helps if you plan from the outset to be conservative with your EEPROM abuse. I like these particular brass inserts. They've got enough of a collar on them at the down here that allows me to sort of pre-align them into the holes before I get the soldering iron onto them. Makes it very easy then to get things fairly much square and plumb. Now I've only got 2 of these particular lock screws. The back here, I've got a sort of a, I don't know what you call that, of a shoulder or something, but I've got it so that it rests against the barlow itself, and it's fairly close diameter to the barlow, so it kind of acts as the 3rd screw, because you can't really get access to it when it's mounted. And you've got the heatsink back here, you can't put a screw in there. And now we use a very professional insert tool. A little more. There we go. Yeah, getting proper inserts goes a long way towards making your life easier, and they're so cheap. You can just buy one of those multi-select containers where they have everything from M2 to M5 brass inserts of various lengths. And then once you've got that, you can work out which ones it is that you need, and then you can buy a bag of 1,000 of the ones that you want. Buying those multi-kits is very handy. Let's see, where's mine? So like your nylons, brass inserts, yeah, okay, then various lengths and sizes of hex head. So, yeah, and they're so, like I said, they're so cheap on AliExpress. It's ridiculous. What are these? Even got various grommets. But yeah, when you get these really cheap sets, they're good for giving you an idea of what it is you need to get. I'm sure there's plenty more of them that I could get. Oh, and I've even got an O-ring one. So that's surprisingly handy, having all these different O-rings. Again, so cheap. It's nice because it means you can sort of work on your project without having to wait yet another week for something else to show up. Well, Miles, all you guys need to do is start manufacturing them yourself. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, just start your own factory, make them yourself, and you'll be good. They're still relatively cheap, to be fair. I mean, all squawking aside, it's still dirt cheap getting stuff from AliExpress for you guys. It's not like you're being that severely penalised. Nothing is cheap on a pension. Well, is that's true. I will put the 3D file for this stand up because I know that some people might want a different angle. Like this is around about, I think it's about 12. I think it's about 12 degrees. I actually haven't measured it. But yeah, that is around about 12 to 15. And yeah, some people might want a different angle. So if I put the 3D file up, you can just adjust it to your own requirements, and a lot of people do have access to a 3D printer. It only takes about 1 hour to print, even on 1 hour for me on my Ender 3 printer. So I'm sure if you've got a faster printer, it's not going to take anywhere near as long. This is with PET. I don't use PLA because the PLA degrades too much with the heat. Agreeably though, the PLA looks nicer when it's printed, but 6 months later it's just going to split, particularly where the inserts are installed. Also, Miles, I think with AliExpress charging like they do for the United States, some of that is them being opportunistic. Because I know that when I ship these ring lights or USB-C meters around, the cost to send to the United States is not that much. But then again, I suppose maybe China has a higher tariff rate than what Australia does. So maybe that's coming into effect. Do you think having them angle light is better than, say, polarized ring light? The analog, yes. I think it's better to have them at the angle because as soon as you go with a polarized light, you're going to lose 50% of your light. Yeah, maybe 40% if you're lucky, but you're going to lose a lot of light by going polarized. And to be honest, I don't know whether it's something different people see or different eyes on different people, but I do not find polarized light that crash hot. It's yeah, it just looks low contrast and grey to me. Like I do have a circular polarizer. I'll see if I can get it. We'll stick it on the camera and you can have a look yourself. As soon as I can find my optics container. Hey, sometimes I'm organised around here. Yeah, so this is my circular polarizer. And it's not a cheap one. This is a proper fair income brand and everything. Okay, so let's see. So this is the angle light. And we'll stick the polarizer on here. Okay. Okay, so then that's with the polarizer. And quite frankly, it seems pretty much the same to me. Just darker. So yeah, that's circular polarizer in action. So look at MacBook board. It just, I don't get any gain out of it in my opinion. It still feels just blah. Yeah, it's not this beautiful popping out of features or anything like that. So what's the thing that they often talk about is how the text pops out. It doesn't. See, that text does not pop out any more than. So that one there. Like say, we're looking at this, right? This is, you can read it. And that's under the circular polarizer. So let me take it off now. Plus you've got to run your light so much hotter too. So now I can back the light back off to that. And honestly, that looks the same to me. And yeah, you're already losing 50, a good portion of your light through the trinocular. Melbourne Cup can go to hell. A bunch of, yeah. Right, I'm going to move on from that topic. So, in my opinion, not having a polarizer is perfectly fine with an angled light. Now we're going to have a look at it with a straight light. I do have a straight light still here. Okay, let's see. We're going to look at that. So that's with angled light. Let's turn that off. I'm just going to take it off the Barlow. Slip the straight light on. Okay, this is now with the straight light. So you can see with the straight light, it's a little more glary, I'll grant you that. Yeah, you got a bit too much like direct reflection off this sort of area and the, copper pads and test pads and things like that. So yeah, it can get a little bit much. And we're going to go back to the angled light here now. Okay, and that's the angled light. So you can see with the angled light that the reflection off here is nowhere near as severe. So yeah, I think having the angled light is a superior compromise all around. You don't have to run your lights as hot or bright, and you still get perfectly good results. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, the whole... people have always raved about polarizers, and I've never personally found them to be that crash hot. And I used to try to wear polarized sunglasses. This is like in the 90s. One thing we did find though is that if you have a motorcycle helmet, a lot of the tilted visors that you have, they're not polarized, but if you wear polarized glasses in them, it's a kaleidoscope of vomit, because it's the polyacrylic or whatever it is that they use. Is it polyacrylic? Anyway, it creates that sort of oil colors effect behind polarized light. You should say, I might just do that, Greg. Yeah. Yanalog, do you want to send me a email? Just send me an email with your screen name. I'll give my, if you want them. I have seen people demonstrating like, oh wow, look how great it is with polarizer. Didn't really dig into their videos much. Quite frankly, the only time that I found that you can get the etched writing to really pop is if you do have a backlight sort of like way down here, which is, I know that's what Soren uses. You know, he's got the two high intensity lights that sit at the back. You know, some people want that. It does give it a very lifelike quality about it, having the lights back there. But the thing I don't like about that is the forward shadow casting. So you have, because I think he's running, you're running at about 45 to 30 degree inclination angle from the desk. So you are going to get a bit of shadow casting. And maybe that's not so bad on the green boards or blue boards. You know, he's working on PCs, but on MacBook boards, it's already a dark board, and then you're going to have shadow cast. It sort of makes it hard for you to spot everything how you want. And also, if you pick up the board and you try and do an inspection, then the light's not going to hit it in the right place. So there's pros and cons either way. You just got to choose the one that you want. You just got some polarizing film, didn't do a damn thing. Yeah, I found that too. I pulled some from some phone board screens, same thing. It was like, how are they doing this? Because it's not working. And I've spun it around and all that sort of stuff, still no good. Okay, let's see if we can get an example here. So like this sort of chip here, polarized or not, you're not going to get the magical effect that they're trying to show. Honestly, if you're that desperate to try and see these, rubbing a little bit of thermal paste, white thermal paste onto there, or not toothpaste, but white thermal paste, will tend to show it up quicker. Defcon, was that linear stuff or was that circular? I'd imagine it'd be linear. But in my opinion, yeah, I'm happy with how this, I guess because, you know, I am using my own stuff, so obviously I'm happy with it. But, you know, I can read that writing. A little more tilting one way or another, and yeah, you can get a stronger contrast. But the stronger contrast you get from this means something else thing doesn't show up as much. So you're just trading off one thing for another. I guess at the end of the day, pick what works for you, and that's what matters. What works for you, go for it. What works for someone else, doesn't matter. If it works for you, and you're the technician, you're the one doing the work, you got to pick the stuff that suits your requirements. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I like that. I'm happy with it. I'm sticking with it. Right, linear. if anything, linear should work better than circular anyway. The only reason that circular became so popular was because it saved you having to make sure you got your filter orientated correctly as you're trying to take your photo. Linear should be a superior solution. Alright. Oh, I forgot heat sinks. Isn't linear polarizer supposed to be... Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to make everything pop. It just never works for me. And it seems like I'm not the only person. So I don't know whether there's something dramatic that I'm missing. But like I said, in all the years of photography, I've never really found the results to be what they claim. It's always been, yeah, it doesn't look as bright, and maybe there's some extreme hotspots have gone, but it's definitely not popping out as if like, wow, I actually turned the contrast up. Okay. Might have to polarize the lights and the lens to get it to work. That's true, yeah. Maybe. I mean, to be fair, the arrangement of these LEDs would mean that you've got light going in every single damn direction. Because yeah, they're in a circular orientation. I don't know. Yeah, it's worth experimenting. Be curious to see what your results are. But for me, so far, it's always been underwhelming. Again, like I said, if it works for someone else, then that's great. I fully support other people choosing what works for them best. I mean, why wouldn't you? Only fan polarizer is useful for shooting through glass or water reflections. It can erase the reflections if you spin it right. Yeah, if you spin it right, and there you'd probably be using the linear one as opposed to the circular one. This is really good heat sink tape. I really like this stuff. Bear in mind, it sticks real well too. And if you want to get this off the aluminium, don't try to use IPA or anything like that. It does something very funny to the white adhesive content. And it actually makes it more difficult to remove it. You just have to use a bit of heat and prying. And patience. Heat, frying, and patience. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be good for shooting museums with everything behind the glass. Oh, so I gave it a go. It didn't work out for me. I don't know whether it's just my eyeballs or what. Well, here's a question for everybody. How many of you see the polarizing marks on car windows? It's kind of like a polka dot pattern. Apparently some people can't see it, but I don't know whether it was just a load of bollocks and everybody can see it. But yeah, I can see a linear being useful because yeah, you align it to the incoming or the reflection to eliminate it. Okay, so Mycosis can see it. He knows what I'm talking about. It doesn't show up to me as a Muir effect. Muir? It's more of a polka dot effect for me. But then again, it might be a manufacturer specific thing. Depends on the car. Okay, WRX, right. Okay. Hmm. I usually find I can see it in bright sunlight. Like on a typical day, I don't generally notice it, but when the sunlight's really picking up, I can see it. So that's most days here. Oh, just realised I didn't swab that with the alcohol. Okay, Yanalog, yeah, you sound like you're seeing it the same sort of way I am. So like it's not always prominent, but you will notice it. And you're an auto glass, huh? But doing windscreen replacements or development of auto glass? Come on. Oh. To be fair, I haven't actually tested the thermal transmissivity of this tape versus, say, the usual things you usually see, which is the silicon tape. But just simply the fact that it's around about 1/4 of a millimeter thick, that alone, and it's thermal tape, that alone tells me that it should be transferring the heat a lot quicker to the heat sink off the board. You're a dispatcher, but you've done a lot in the business. Oh, okay, right. So you get to listen to people say they've done dumb things and stuck on the side of the road. Alright then folks, that is everything. We got 4 done, so I'm happy with that. That's pretty much all I'm probably going to be doing for the foreseeable future, unless something really dramatic happens. An hour and a half, dragged it out a little bit long, but then again we did do the full build. So 90 minutes, 45, 22 and a half minutes each. I'll call it half an hour by the time I pack everything up. So, alright then, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one, whenever that may be. Hopefully I'll get some MacBook jobs in here to fix up that we can do on live stream. It's actually been surprisingly few jobs coming in lately. I'm not sure why that is, but I guess I better get out there and start doing some more marketing. Make people know that I am out here to repair those computers. You all take care. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, catch you.